Details on the Olympic judging assignment can be found in the assignments area of our Canvas site. And in this project, you will find a PDF of instructions, which are also duplicated here. You'll find a zip file of the graphic orbs. There are 7 orbs here representing the different flags of these 7 countries. They are 64 by 64 pixels. And you'll also find a sample executable. I'm going to open up the PDF. And in the PDF, you can see the interface that you will design. And I've given you the suggested names for all the items that we'll refer to in code. So for each of the 7 countries, there is a text box. And I named these TXT score 1, TXT score 2, TXT score 3, and so forth. There is a country, which I named in a label, which I named the labels LBL country 1, LBL country 2, and so forth. And then there's another label that contains the orb. And so these are LBL orb 1, LBL orb 2, and so forth. There's a button here named BTN process. And the idea behind this is they would enter the scores for these nations in an Olympic judging event. And traditionally in an Olympic judging event, they throw out the highest and the lowest score and take the average of the remaining scores. And that's what this processing the scores button does. And so what it should do is find the high score. In this case, maybe China's the high score, and it would change the orb to that country, list the name of the country and the score that's the highest, and do the same thing for the low score. Show us the orb, the name of the country, and the low score. And then in this large green box, text box, named TXT average, it should show us the average score was of the middle 5 judges. So we're throwing out the high and the low. One way you could do that is find the total of all 7, subtract the high and the low, and then divide that by 5. That's probably the easiest solution to get that average. That should be formatted to 2 decimal places. I provide some pseudocode, although that previous video lesson that I did on finding the high and low temperatures would be a great way to solve this problem. And then here's some sample data you can use. Let me run the project. So here's the project running. I entered some data here with China being 8.5. I'm going to use that as the average. So France is 2 above. Germany is going to be the highest at 9.0, and then Great Britain is 2 below my average of 8.5. This is just a way to test, make sure we're getting the correct average results. Sweden is 1 above, while Zimbabwe is 1 below, and the United States will be the lowest score. So we should see low score show up with the stars and stripes orb here, United States in this label, and then this label or text box would be 8.1. And for the high score would be the Germany flag, the name Germany, and the score being 9.1, and this should come out as 8.50. Let's test it and see if that's what we get. And that is exactly what we get. So my test data seems to be supporting that this is working correctly. When you're all done with the project, make sure you test it thoroughly. I would test that every country is at 1 point the high and every country is at 1 point the low, and make sure it's finding the high and lows in the case of all 7 countries. And then make sure your math is coming out correctly in terms of the average score of the middle 5. When you're all done, zip that together and submit it to Canvas for grading.